Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner II, team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. Joining me today is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. We jump on here again every Wednesday, give you a rundown what's going on in the real estate market over the last 7 days, keep you informed, keep that playbook sharp, and get ready. Obviously, we're just coming out of spring training. We use our sports analogies here, so I think as the market kind of picks up in full swing. So with spring training comes springing forward as far as your daylight savings time. So our reminder for today, our quick tip is basically changing your batteries in your smoke detectors. I got the lovely chirp reminder of the smoke detector chirping at you saying, "Hey, come change out my batteries." So figure I'd bring it up to everybody here today, just as our quick tip here. So yeah, that time of year again. So get those batteries changed out in your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, all that kind of fun stuff. So, maybe just do a quick safety check around your house. Obviously with the fall and things like that, with the wind we've had, there are any tree branches rubbing against the house, just normal, springtime maintenance stuff. Get out there and kind of do a safety check around your house, and things of that sort. So, but yeah, let's jump in. What's going on in the real estate market here in the last 7 days? Let me pull up our graphics here. So we had a decent chunk of new listings go live over the last 7 days at 592. I ran these numbers probably around lunchtime. Typically, I run them in the morning, so I maybe got a little extra numbers than the previous week. Pulling those at the same time of the day. Try to as much as I can to keep the numbers where they're at. So we got 592 on new listings in the last 7 days. 458 new contracts written, and 425 happy new homeowners over the last 7 days. So that new contracts written's up about 58 from the previous week. New listings was at 470, so we're up about 122 new listings on that side. There goes. Yeah, I think it's still pretty active. We're this the time of the year we're starting to see more houses come on. I know you got spring breaks coming up for schools and things like that, so you're going to get some people maybe going on vacation, but also some people coming into town, looking for houses and things of that sort. So this is when the market obviously picks up a little bit. So we had a listing go live on Poppleton Circle that you probably saw if you follow us here on social media and all that fun stuff. That thing went under contract in a day. So it was an active listing. Didn't have a crazy amount of showings, but it's priced at 325, and it was another one of those that went pretty darn quick, in that regard. So, but I've got another new listing coming up on Friday at 10342 V Street. It's a fantastic house. Been a single owner, or actually probably dual owner, but last owner's been there for 43 years, I believe it is. So been there a long time. Updated HVAC, roof, just redid the basement, finished the basement. It's got a nice dry bar down there. It's a ranch. It's just over 2,000 square feet, backs up to Ball Diamonds over in Oak Heights by Hitchcock Elementary, basically off 108th and Q Street. So it's an awesome listing. That'll be going live on Friday. I wouldn't expect that thing to sit too long on the market. So if that's something that's in your wheelhouse, I'd get after it there. So, but if you have questions, reach out to us here. So, yeah, so it's kind of the snapshot view there. Let's look at the 30,000 foot view of what's gone on in the marketplace here. Similar numbers as we come back. So 32, 33 active listings in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS. And 1756 in Douglas Sarpy County out of that 3,200 there. And 842, I think it was 846 last week. So, we're not jumping up. We're kind of staying right around that number there. Because like you said, we had, or like you saw in the previous one, 592 on the new listings, 458 coming off the market. So you're not having too much hangover there of home staying on the market there. So new construction, 914. I think that was at 920, 941. So yeah, so some of those spec homes are coming off. I still see emails coming across from builders or builders agents of deals that they're doing, whether that's concessions and things like that. A little bit on those, some of those that are coming on, maybe they're not doing it because they know the spring market's coming up, so they're not moving too much. Some of that inventory, I know some of them are mastermind. We're talking that, agents writing lower offers on those spec homes, and basically the builders are just saying flat out no. Hey, the spring market's coming out. We're getting more buyers in the marketplace in that side. So 5 months supply of inventory, kind of almost a neutral market, from the big picture. But then, like I said, this is a 30,000 foot view. When you start narrowing it down into what's going on in the specific price points, like my listing I just had at 325, that market is moving pretty darn quick. So we don't have 5 months supply of in that price point. So it just depends on the price points that you're in. So that's something obviously looking in your playbook and your scouting reports to have those numbers in there to know how to prepare for listing a house or going out to buy a house. Know what playbook you're going to run in there. So average sold price at 358. Kind of been hovering right around that 360, 355 mark for a little bit here, but yeah, so 9% difference from last year. So yeah, let's look in here, guys. We'll jump in with Russ. Obviously, we had a lot of volatility, I guess, in the economic data there, as far as all the things going on globally. So I guess we'll touch base and see how those affected. I guess you're still under. Yep, there you go, unmuted. So yeah. So what do we see with rates, and what have you seen over the last 7 days? I mean, there's been a lot of activities, going on.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week. Keep in mind, last week at this time, we were sitting not far off of 4-year lows for interest rates. And this week, the first week of every month, is commonly the jobs week, where on the first Friday of the month, the non-farm payroll numbers are released, and those are a major driver of what mortgage rates do. Part of the reason for that is that gives indicators to the Federal Reserve Bank, on whether or not they should adjust short-term rates, which impacts long-term rates, although it's not one for one. Um, we expect that we'll see a relatively weak jobs report this week, and probably see some revisions to prior months that will be helpful for mortgage rates. But the bigger news, of course, started last Friday night with the situation in the Middle East. And we saw energy prices and oil jump up on Monday and Tuesday significantly. And that pushed mortgage rates up noticeably on Monday and Tuesday. They've come back a little bit today, partially because the U.S. has basically said they're going to provide some insurance guarantees, and even naval escorts if necessary, to ensure that those big oil tankers can get through that Strait of Hormuz, which is where 40% of the world's oil passes. So if the countries and the oil shipping companies happen to pick up that insurance from the government, or take the naval escort, and we see the energy situation not escalate and that whole situation stabilize, it's quite possible we could see rates come back down even lower than they were before. But we'll be watching pretty close. But for those of you that are in the midst of buying a house now, or thinking about buying a house, don't let this derail your plans. The long-term trend is still that we're going to see some nice rates here for a little while. The only thing that might upset that is if this would go into a wider conflict, and uncertainty typically isn't helpful. But energy prices are the big deal, but thankfully the government stepped in and is going to insure and even give us some naval escorts to protect that energy going through. And so far, that's been very good for the oil prices today, and that's why we've seen rates come back down not far off of where they were before. So get out there. There's some subsidy money for first-time home buyers that's out there. Rates are very good compared to what they have been for the last 3 years. So take advantage of it, get with Mark and his team, and put a plan together.
Yeah. I mean, that's, getting the rundown. I think that is, it's there's like, when there's uncertainty in the marketplace, whether it's geopolitically or, here domestically or things of that sort, it's like, give us a call, and we'll find the answers for you. And don't, read the press clippings, because think a lot of the press clippings you see out there are kind of all over the board, and so, there's been an inevitable housing crash for the last 10 years, that's going to be coming along and all this stuff. And so it's just, get with us, get with an educated agent that knows that's got their finger on the pulse of what's going on. And like you said, we do this every single week. So we've been doing it for the last 6 years going on now, because, I look back, I got my notebook here and I have all literally the weekly numbers on since 2020, basically since COVID, when we started, everyone got on Zoom, and I've just have kept doing it. It holds me accountable to stay on top of the market, which I always typically do, but it's, making sure that that you guys are informed out there so you can make a decision, whether you're using us as an agent or just want to keep tabs on what's going on. But love that opportunity to work with you and earn your business, and coach you and educate you on what's going on, whether that's in the buying and selling, or investing in that side. So, but if you have any questions, reach out to myself, 672-7670, or Russ at 290-8936, and we're happy to help out with you. And we'll see everybody next week. Next week, spring break for my kiddos, so you might have a little bit of action going on in the back, I guess, if I got my kids here, hanging out with them. So we'll see how we rock and roll with that. So it's supposed to be nice next week. I think I saw it's supposed to be like Tuesday or something, like 79 is high
Oh,
there. So
nice.
great opportunity. When the kids are home, let's all go out and look at houses, right? Everybody loves doing that. So, but yeah, love to help you. Give us a holler, and we'll catch everybody next week.